Welcome to another episode of On Purpose by Lynn. For those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Lynn and I share with you everything you need to know about personal development and spirituality so that you can create your best life and so that you can rise to your fullest potential. If that's something that you're interested in, then make sure to subscribe. In this episode, I will be talking about the ego. I will be talking about this concept that many spiritual teachers talk about and how your ego might be controlling your life. In this episode, I will be talking about my experience with ego death and how you can recognize when your ego is dying. If that's something that you are interested in right now, then stay around. So when you're in the midst of a spiritual awakening, you'll see that because you're waking up to your spirit, because you're waking up to your true potential, to your true self, to your higher self, the infinite self, you're going to feel some sort of identity shift within you. And that means that we're going to let go of the old identity, the person that we have been showing up as in life, the person that we were to our friends, the person that had certain interests and suddenly feels no longer the interest for those things, just because you are realizing who you truly are and you're letting go of that old identity. I love to say or see it this way: we have infinite consciousness, we have infinite potential, we have love, we have intuition, we have expansion beyond us, we have service to others, and then we have fear, then we have identity, then we have limitations, then we have service to self. These two things that I just described, this is who you really are. You are infinite potential, you are source energy, you are infinite consciousness. And you are not your identity. You are not your ego. You are not limitations. And our ego, usually before we wake up, has control over who we perceive ourselves as and what we can do in this world. And so when we're going through a spiritual awakening, we're waking up to this part of ourselves that is infinite, and we're letting go of our ego. And when that happens, usually it comes with a lot of emotion. Because first, we recognize the light within ourselves. It lights us up, it brings out our true fire, our passion, our love, our expansion. And then it's followed with this very confusing energy, which is grief and sadness. And while we embark on our journey, we come across these things multiple times. It is an ego death, is what I call it. Is what happens multiple times in our journey of spiritual awakening. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because last week I was actually exactly going through this. And I hope it's okay if I become a little bit more personal with all of you. So in this last few weeks, and this is just an example for you so that you understand what exactly an ego death could feel like and could look like, so that you can identify whether you are going through it or not. So last few weeks, since mid-November, I have gone through a phase of really deep transformation. And in a way that it just shakes up all of your energies. And all of your energies have to settle again. I walked on fire, I walked on glass. I have confronted my biggest fears in front of public. And those experiences, they awakened a lot in me. I broke through the fear so that this infinite potential could expand and could be seen. And I fully felt ready to embody my true power, to embody my true fire. And so with that came a lot of liberation. It was really surreal. It felt like I was living in this pink cloud, full of love and expansion and potentiality and possibilities, creativity. I suddenly felt, like life was coming together. All my manifestations were coming together. And suddenly last week, it was like this pink cloud was suddenly like destroyed. And I didn't understand why. I felt these emotions of, I just felt super emotional. I felt grief. I felt sadness, and I didn't know why until I realized, wow, because I have done this tremendous identity shifting, of course there is a part of me, myself, that is dying. Literally, my ego was dying. The stories that I had been telling myself were falling away and were unshedding, and it wanted to be released. My little self, my little me, wasn't ready to level up like that. My little me was still feeling not ready for this major shift. My little me was scared. And so it was grieving the ego death. It was grieving this part of me that I was letting go of. And the funny thing about this is that I was letting go of things that no longer served me. It didn't serve me at all for a very, very long time. And although I was happy that I was letting go about this story, that I was letting this story go, it awakened some sort of grief within me. Now, when you are going through that, ego death, it is natural. Just understand that it is natural. And for us to sometimes expand, there's something that needs to contract. And this is how the universe works. We have ebb and we have flow. We have full moon, we have new moon. We have yin and yang, we have these cycles. And whenever we're about to expand, we're contracting. Because where we want to welcome new things to come into our lives. Do you remember this video where I was talking about the vessel and our body being the vessel? And for when you see a cup, and that cup is symbolizing the vessel, when you want to pour liquid into it, coffee or whatever, water, it has a limited amount of capacity of water that it can hold. And this is our body. Our body has a limited capacity of energy, capacity of things that we can hold. And in order for us to receive something new in our lives, it means that something needs to collapse, something needs to let go of. And while you're going through an ego death, that's what's happening. And sometimes when you're going through that, there comes a lot of fear. And this is what I recognized within myself as well. Suddenly there's doubt coming in. There's like, am I really ready for this? Am I competent? Am I actually capable of doing this? Maybe there is some real anxiety coming through. That anxiety that is telling you that you made the wrong decision, that this is not you, you cannot do this, it is not for you. This is all very typical. And for us to become aware of these things is super important, because this is the point where you can actually or where it's determined whether you will break through or you will resign and go back to your old self. So when this happens, be aware. Beware of anxiety and fear popping up before you're entering a breakthrough. Because this is what always happens. We cannot be led by our emotions. Our emotions sometimes want to fool ourselves because our emotions are sometimes coming from our ego that wants to protect us from moving beyond our limits. Let me know in the comments what you have learned, or if there's anything that you've learned in this episode about the ego, about how it communicates, and how you can recognize an ego death. I'm very curious to know. And if you have liked this video, make sure to like it, so this video will be spread out to anyone who needs to hear it right now. And for those of you who haven't already subscribed to my channel, make sure to do so, as you will be the first to watch all of my videos every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, so that you can create your best life. Remember, we have such an exciting future to look forward to, even if it doesn't seem like it right now. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next video. Bye for now.